Breaking Bad. Man, that show, like, the first time I watched that show was probably, damn, that shit was like long ago. The first time I watched it was probably 2014, maybe 2015, some 2014. 2014, what was I doing in 2014? Shit, that was, well, now it's 2021, so that was 5 years ago, right? So, shit, like 18? I was 18 right then, right? So no, I didn't. No, I watched it before that. A friend of mine introduced me to the show back in the day when I was going to high school. He told me about it. He said the show was really good. I checked it out. I watched the first season. The first season was actually a very slow burn. You know, it was about developing Walter's character, and Walter finds out he has cancer. He's still working at that fucking what do you call it? That fucking store, the washing machine store, not the washing machine, but the wash store, the place where the car wash, exactly, the car wash. And he gets frustrated because he's not making any money. He's working that job and he's working the other job because they are not earning enough money. His wife's pregnant, so he has to pick up the load and work more hours to try to make up for the lost money. Finds out he has cancer, then finds out he won't be able to pay for his treatment because he doesn't even have enough money. Then he finds out that he has to take the money from the people that he despises the most, which is the Gretchens, Elliot and Gretchen. He despises Elliot and Gretchen because they took the credit for his work, but at the same time, he took a buyout from the company for a couple $1,000s because he wanted to pay a couple months of rent. And he was poor at that time, and that was a lot of money to him at that time. So he resents them because they got rich off of his work. He was the one that did the work. They did something, of course. They did a lot of work too, but the work that Walter did was the reason why they became as rich as they were. And he resents them for that, and he has too much of an ego, to take the money and shut up because, and I mean, of course, there wouldn't be much of a show otherwise. Of course, if he takes the money and just does his treatment, then the whole show wouldn't make any sense. But at the same time, Walter's ego would never let him take that money because he has a big ego, man, huge ego, and he didn't. Okay, and then he starts selling drugs with Jesse Pinkman. He bribes Jesse Pinkman, but I'm not here to like talk about the whole show, but it would take me hours to sit here and talk about the fucking show, man. I gotta talk about all the characters, Tuco, Salamanca, and fucking Crazy Eight and Emilio. Man, that shit's gonna take forever, man. But if one thing I saw in that show is that Walter's character gets darker and darker every season. Every season. Season one, he doesn't kill anybody, right? He killed. No. I'm wrong. No. He killed Crazy Eight. He killed Crazy Eight, right? That was the first time he killed somebody. He murdered Crazy Eight because he knew if he didn't murder Crazy Eight, he would come back to kill his whole family, and Crazy Eight was trying to kill him anyways. After he unlocked the lock on the back, Crazy Eight would have killed Walter anyways. And he used that to justify killing him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to. He justified it by killing him in self-defense, and that's how he lives with the murder. But after season 2 comes past, he gets into bed with Gustavo Fring. That guy is not to be crossed. A cold, calculating individual that was able to outmaneuver the cartel. He was able to outmaneuver the cartel and kill all of them. So that guy is very cunning. He was able to also outmaneuver the government too, the police, and Better Call Saul kind of points into that backstory a little bit. Crazy, man. Everything links together, man. The whole show is brilliant. I don't know. I mean, The Wire definitely is a step above Breaking Bad for sure. Like, that's not even a competition. But Breaking Bad's up there for sure. Top 3 of all time TV shows of all time. So season 2, he's just working with Jesse, trying to build a relationship with Gustavo Fring. He works with Fring. But then, Walter's ego again. Walter's ego comes back to haunt him. He has to continuously interfere with the operations. He kills the drug dealers for Jesse Pinkman. Then he took a half measure. That was in season 2, episode 11, something like that, right? Like half measures, right? This is all off the cuff. I'm not reading off a teleprompter or whatever the fuck. And it's kind of crazy how Walter's character just, and Skyler, she ends up finding out about everything. She finds out about everything in season 3, somewhere in season 3, because she phoned Gretchen, and Gretchen told her that they didn't give her dime, and then that dawned to her, how the hell is he paying for his treatment? And then she came to the conclusion that it was drugs because of the link she made to Jesse Pinkman, because Jesse called Walter's house one day, and then Skyler researched the number and it led to the website that Jesse Pinkman had. Then it led to Jesse Pinkman's house, and she confronted him in person. Once she confronted him in person, then she knew that Jesse Pinkman was selling him marijuana, which was a lie to cover up a bigger lie, which was to cover up the truth. That was that he was manufacturing methamphetamine. He was a cook for Gustavo Fring, chemist, whatever. So he ends up telling her the truth. He kind of comes clean because everything's already over with. They're separated. He's living apart from the family. He doesn't even get to see his children that often. The family's all broken up. So Walter, he stays in the game. Shit. Walter stays in the game anyways because he has nothing else to do. Because what else is he gonna do? Be a chemist? I mean, he's not making any money working as a high school teacher teaching chemistry. So he has to do the shit that he's doing, selling drugs. He's not really a conventional drug dealer. He's more of a chemist. But let's just say he's a drug dealer. He is a drug dealer. Technically, I mean, he is a drug dealer. He's manufacturing it, and then someone's selling it. If he didn't manufacture it, there wouldn't be any product to sell, right? And then in season 3, there's a rift. Well, season 3 was still working for Gustavo, but damn, am I forgetting everything? Well, no, season 3, at the end of season 3, box cutter happens. All throughout season 3, there's a rift between him and Gus is trying to find ways to kill him, trying to find ways to replace him. He wants Gail to replace Walter. And it's very, very, layered. It has layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers. I can't do that TV show any justice talking about it in a 10-minute video. It's just something that you gotta watch for yourself to appreciate the whole show. I can only give you my experience watching the show. The show's brilliant. It's a very, very good show. I enjoyed it very much. I still watch it back a couple times, a couple episodes that I enjoy. Season 1, sometimes I watch it back a couple times, just because I appreciate the show, man. Like, I enjoy that show so much. And sometimes there's a couple things that I missed, and I maybe, catch up on, and it clicks when you watch it. But great show, one of the best, no doubt. The character of Saul Goodman, too, that's a very good character that you guys need to look into, too. Every character has its own struggles, man. Jesse Pinkman, he's an addict. He's an addict. He's addicted to meth. What is he addicted to? He's always using meth, right? He likes meth. He's using methamphetamine. He uses all types of drugs. I mean, he's a fuck up. He's a delinquent. He's basically a fuck up. He's not good at anything else. And what else could he do? He did have his high school diploma, so he had his GED. He did pass with that, but the dude had nothing going for himself, man. He was a drug dealer manufacturing drugs. That's all, man. That's all he was good for, I guess. I mean,